kind of post on anybody. So I do walk. I'm a teacher by trade, so I'm used to walking, right? The purpose of a memory is not to remember the past. The purpose of a memory is to extract a lesson to structure your future. Think about that for a second. Everything you have happened in your life was for a reason. There was a purpose behind it. There was nothing like a coincidence. You happened to be somewhere at a certain time. That was not an accident. So I'm gonna lead you a little journey. My little story. I'm gonna put you in my shoes, just for 5 minutes. It's gonna be less graphic than what's in my book, for intentionally. There are some younger people here, so I don't wanna go too far. If you wanna know the real story, grab my book, you can get all the dirty details. Okay, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. October 6th, 2021, 7 o'clock at night, post-COVID. COVID's still kind of happening, right? And it's 7 o'clock at night, so being October, it's dark. It's also, with the moon phases, completely dark. It's a moonless night that comes into play. All right, we're driving on the highway, left-hand lane, dual highway, number 1 highway, several hours from here, so this is not in Regina. It's nowhere near here, okay? I was not near home. I was a long ways away. You're driving a left-hand lane because you've gotten to the point where you're hungry. You need food. It's 7 o'clock. You haven't stopped yet. There's a gas station on the left side, the other side of the double-lane highway, and it's all by itself. No vehicles, nobody you can see, so you're not sure it's open. So do you stop? And it's post-COVID, stuff closes back home at about 7 o'clock. It already is, so you keep driving. The highway at that point curves and goes slightly downhill. You get partway around the curve, and you don't see him in time. 24-year-old man, dark blue sweater, black sweats, riding a bike, no reflectors, in the middle of your lane. And you hit him, full speed. No chance to react. I don't even have a chance to turn the wheel. That's how fast it happens. You hit him, body comes up, smashes into your windshield, glass shards fly everywhere, in your face, your arms, your chest, all over the car. Body bounces up, goes over the car, lands somewhere behind you. You don't know where. You hit the brakes. Problem is, you can't see anything. Where are you gonna run into next? You look out left side window to find the side of the highway, to find a way of figuring out where you are. Brake hard, get the car to stop, hit the signal lights, right, your warning lights, and dial 911. Now you start to panic. What the hell just happened? So you talk to 911 operators, calms you down. At this point you go, well, I'm trained in first aid. I have my emergency first aid, I coached for years, so I have my first aid. I need to do something. I don't know if he's alive, I don't know if he's dead. I don't know how hurt he is, but I need to do something. So you start to walk, and you start panicking. What am I going to find? What condition is this guy in? I don't know. No idea. Keep walking, 75 meters, 100 meters, I don't know. I don't know the exact distance, but it's a ways. I was going pretty fast. Get to a point, body's in the middle of the highway, on the dash line in the middle of the highway. 911 operator goes, do not go out there. You didn't see him. A car coming around that curve isn't gonna see you. He did the warning, I didn't go out there. It's a good thing, because within 30 seconds of her saying that, the lights come around the curve. Mid-size SUV. I'm doing this. I'm going, thank God I've got help. So I thought. Vehicle comes around the curve, doesn't see me. But he also didn't see him. Collision number 2. Now I'm going, okay, that was interesting. I start walking back to my car. 30 seconds later, I hear a big noise behind me. Not sure what it is. I look back, lots of lights. send me with a flatbed trailer. I'm waving like crazy. Engine never stopped revving, brakes were never hit. Never saw me, and never saw him. Collision number 3. I finally get back to my car and go through the rest of that day, get to the hospital and get checked, yada, yada, yada. Eventually get home the next night by the time I get back. Now I need to try and put the pieces together. How? My first instinct is I need help. I need to talk to somebody. I'm talking to friends and family, but they're not professionals. They don't know how to deal with me. My friends do not know how to talk to me. My family doesn't know how to talk to me. No one understands. So what goes through my head? Fear. A lot of it. Fear of what they will think. I just killed somebody. How do I deal with that? How do I get through that? So I started asking help from different people. One, work. Insurance company. Right? We've got the insurance company. We also have what they call the public employee benefit program. Right? It's the group that actually helps us get the help we need. I talked to them. I got 2 choices. Number 1, she offers is, well, I can get you into an appointment next Wednesday. This is Thursday afternoon. Do you think I need to wait? No. I need help and I want it now. And I told them that. So I was told that you have choice number 2. Be on a call list. They'll call you if they have time. That was their response. If they can get through their appointments they have and they've got some extra time, they'll call you. I went, if that's all I got, then I will take what I can get. 5 hours later, I get a phone call. And it was 18 minutes of a royal waste of my time. I got treated like a child. Oh, it's okay, it'll be all right. I'm a 55-year-old male who's going through a trauma. What's the last thing you should be doing to me? Do not treat me like a child. I was upset, to say the least. That conversation didn't last because I completely clammed up. I did what a lot of guys will do. I stopped talking. Guys are notorious for that, right? Much but the opposite of what women will do. I stopped talking. Conversation ended. Okay, he says, if you want more help, just call in, you'll get somebody. Okay, wait a minute. You want me to relive the trauma and explain it to somebody else? Again. And the next time I call, I'll have to do it again. And next time I call, I'll have to do it again. Does that make sense? No, not to me. That doesn't help me. I go to my family doctor. Say, okay, I'm seeing a psychologist. I got one on my own. I'm seeing somebody else who is trained in neuro-linguistic programming, which was the biggest help I got, right? But it's also considered holistic. So how much insurance coverage do you have? No. Most insurance companies won't cover it, which means I'm footing the bill for all of it. So I went through my doctor. He says, well, there's the public program. You can go through the group health region. You can get a psychologist there, which we heard a little bit about before with another speaker. And was told it'll take 2 to 3 months before you get a phone call. That was December of 2021. Guess when I got the phone call? I never did. I have yet to ever receive a phone call from the health region after my name was on the list in December 16 months ago. I've never gotten a phone call. That's the reality of our healthcare system. So where do I go from all of this? A lot of what I write in my book and a lot of things that I have done since have all been self-help. Things I tried to do for me. I know I need to do things different. I know I need to do something to help improve. So what do I need to tackle first? Triggers are a huge issue. I drive down the street and get a flash of light in a shop window. Sets me off. I go from a stress level of 6, which is pretty much my constant right now. I go to a 10 instantly because it's a shock to my system. It's part of that memory that I just talked about earlier. That memory keeps coming back, but it's all that emotion attached to that memory that's my problem. What does it do? Cranks up my emotion, cranks up my blood pressure, cranks up my heart rate, and I have a physical reaction to an emotional response. So the first thing I needed to learn to do is calm down my physical response first. So I did that by using breathing, box breathing. Think of 4 corners of a square. Breathe in through your nose, 4 seconds. Let it out, 4 seconds. Hold 4 seconds. In 4 seconds. Hold 4 seconds. So it's a combination of in, hold, out, hold, and you keep that pattern and keep going. What does it do? It calms down your central nervous system and it brings down your heart rate. It settles you. It really settles me. It takes usually 3 rounds and I've settled my heart rate down really well. And that just takes some practice. But the other piece of it that people miss is how you do it. Where does the energy build when you're under a lot of stress? Is it your chest or is it lower? It tends to be here, solar plexus. So what I learned to do is to breathe properly. A little test for you. Put one hand on your chest, one hand on your stomach. Take a deep breath and hold it. Which hand moves more? The one on your chest or the one on your stomach? Who said chest? Okay, and the ones must be stomach then. Or those are going, I'm not talking to you. But that's okay too. What you're gonna find is if you wanna release the energy that's in your diaphragm, in your solar plexus, you need to what's called diaphragm breathe, which means your chest shouldn't move. If you try that as a little test and try to take a deep breath with just your chest moving, and then do the same thing with just your stomach coming out, and see the difference in how it feels. What it does is it releases that balled up energy out of your solar plexus way faster than if you tried breathing through your chest. And by practicing that and using that, I was able to settle myself down really, really well. Okay, that's the physical piece. Now how do you deal with the emotional piece? One of the things that I did is I bought a book. It's called Miracle Morning by Elrod. And I use a portion of it, and I kind of developed my own pieces after that. But it's a whole morning routine to start my day from a mental aspect to get away from the negative spin in my head I was getting every single day. That negative spin had to stop, or else I wasn't going to function. So I started my morning with meditation, with different pieces. 1, gratitude. Any psychologist will tell you that you start your day with gratitude. What you're going to find is that you get into that positive energy state. That's a higher energy state. You need to get away from the lower energy state, which is the whole accident, the death, everything about it. Get away from that and stop vibrating on a negative and start vibrating on a positive, higher energy level. So that's how I started doing it. Gratitude every single day. Something really, really simple. God, I love the smell of coffee in the morning. The sun feels good on my face. I have a really close family. I have a house to live in. I don't live in Africa where I don't have clean water. Very basic things. It doesn't have to be something extravagant. Something very simple. But the important thing is, it's gratitude. Number 2, affirmations. If you're not sure how to make them, there's tons of information online. Don't need to teach you that piece. Right? There's lots of them. I am successful. Everything is I am. Don't use the word not. Because your subconscious doesn't know the difference. I'm not poor. Right? I'm not unemployed. But what does your subconscious do? It takes out the word not and takes the main basis of what you just said. I'm poor, I'm unemployed. I'm not loved. Right? It doesn't look at the not, it looks at what the actual phrase is. So always keep everything in a positive affirmation. Never put a negative in it, because it doesn't work. Right? So you do your affirmations. I do several of them. I use that as part of my journaling as well as the meditation piece. Number 3, look towards your future. That's what I started with memory, right? Look towards your future. What does therapy do? Therapy looks at the struggle you had, your depression, your anxiety. Anxiety you had, therapists help a lot to get you from that point to the present moment. What do I do as a life coach? I take you from present moment and go the other way. Let's take a look at how do you go from being in the present here and now and stop looking at everything affecting you in the present and you're always stuck. You need to get unstuck. Start thinking forwards. Visualization and talking to something called your higher self. Conversation with yourself. There's two selves you'll talk to. Your child, inner child, be under the age of 5. There's a whole theory behind that, which is, I don't have time for that. Well, we'll talk about the higher self. Who is the higher self for you? Your higher self is that version of you that is everything you want to be. That means you're successful in business. That means you have the degrees you want. That means you have a successful relationship. All those pieces, you have them all. And your higher self knows how you got there. So you have a conversation with your higher self and go, okay, so I need to do something different in business because I'm not quite successful. How did you get there? And you start getting this conversation with yourself. You know the answers. A lot of times it's just lack of motivation. Right? Sometimes you don't know the answer, but you'll be surprised what you can come up with by simply using that conversation. I've used it a lot and got to where I am today because of a lot of it. Right? So you have that conversation, and then you start going, okay, so if I want to do that today, I start with a conversation with myself going, today is a great day. Every single day, without fail. Today is a great day. And what do I do from that point? I visualize what it is in my day that's going to make it great. Some piece of where I want to get to, I use that, put it into my meditation and visualize this is something I'm going to accomplish today and this is how I'm going to do it. If you can think it and you can put emotion to it, you will finish it. That's the positive atmosphere, the positive mindset I had to put into my head every single day for months to get through what I went through. I saw something that a human's not meant to see, but I had to find a way to get through. I was not willing to just collapse. I had to get through it. There's a lesson to be learned. I learned it. That's why I said that's not a coincidence it happened. Because immediately after that happened, I left another business I was doing. I let it go. And I started doing this. I decided that this is a story that I can use. Mental health is a huge issue. I have it in my family. My stepson deals with anxiety, deals with depression, panic attacks. Put him in the hospital 3 times. It happens. So I'm familiar with it. My father tried to commit suicide at the age of 70 something. I don't remember the exact year, but he's in his 70s, tried to commit suicide. So mental health is something that I take seriously, and even for me. I don't want that for my life. I contemplated suicide 10 years ago. I will never go back. So I knew this could be a problem. So now I take a look at it and go, okay, what did I learn? And how can I use that now? Which is why I came here. The whole idea of what did I learn from my accident brought me to this. This is the 3rd time I've done this. Right? I was on CBC Radio morning show because I asked. Just trying to help, right? And people are sucking it up going, absolutely, we want you to come, right? Because they know how much mental health becomes a very big buzzword within our society, right? There are 3 rules in life, right? If you don't go after what you want, you'll never get it. Right? I went after the morning show and got it, no problem. Number 2, if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no, every single time. So you need to ask, right? I knew I was going to forget something. Oh, simple. If you don't step forward, you'll always stay exactly where you are. Are you happy with the life you have now? If the answer is no, then why are you not stepping forward? Stop staying where you are, right? I had to step forward and take a risk. If you don't take a risk, you're never going to get anything. I took a risk. I take a risk going out and doing public speaking. I'm a teacher by trade. Okay, yeah, it's easier for me. So I'm used to being in front of kids. Did it for 16 years. That doesn't mean it doesn't scare the hell out of me some days, because I'm telling you a story that it scares me what people will think of me, because I killed somebody. And that statement right there is one of the first things I changed when I got back. Did I kill him? No. It was an accident. I was never charged. I didn't do anything wrong. It was the second one on that highway in less than a month. Same sort of thing. A guy on a bike. In my case, he was killing himself. It was never my fault. I was never charged. And there was nothing wrong with what I did. So that helped me get through what I went through. To be able to rationalize that no, it's not my fault, it happened. Why did it happen? What am I going to do with it? And that takes me to here. So I thank you for listening. Namaste. I appreciate your time.
Great job. You did great.